When is your birthday? And on your birthday, do you have any ritual of looking back and looking forward, kind of like we do on New Year's, except do you do the same thing on your birthday? We, as a family, have a birthday tradition of going around the table and saying something that we appreciate about the birthday person. And personally, I have a tradition of evaluating my last year. How did I do? How am I doing? And my birthday happens to be in June. So I have 6 months since New Year's. So I can kind of evaluate, how is my year going? Am I hitting my goals? Am I on track? What do I want to do better? And these are the things that I think about on my birthday. Well, today is one of my son's birthday. So we have birthday season in our house. We have 6 people in our family, and 4 of us have birthdays within 30 days. 3 of us have birthdays within the next 5 days. So during birthday season, I'm thinking about all of this stuff. And I asked my 14-year-old, how was your last year? Okay, for a 14-year-old boy, that question is too broad. It might be too broad for you. So I narrowed it down and I asked some specific questions, and that is what we're going to cover this episode. So in your podcast player, I don't know which one you use. I'm going to talk about Apple. When you open a podcast, there's the 3 little dots up on the top, and you can click to download the episode. You can click to save the episode, and you can share the episode. This would be a great episode to save and download, because then you can sort your podcasts by downloaded. When you don't have internet, when you don't have good cell service. I do that a lot on my walks because I don't want to use my data for podcast streaming. I download most of my podcasts, but then you can also click on saved, and I reserve my saved episodes for things that I have already listened to, but that I want to go back and listen to again. So this episode would be a great one to go back and listen to around your birthday, but it's June. This is going to release on June 1st, which is exactly 6 months from January 1st. So use today, whether it's your birthday or not, to evaluate how your year is going. So welcome to the Health with Hashimoto's podcast. Today is obviously not going to be Hashimoto's specific, but it is health specific. I look at you as a whole person: body, mind, spirit, diet, environment. They all come together to create the whole you. All of those pieces come together to create your overall health. Hashimoto's is one title that you have as a diagnosis, but it does not define who you are. It does not define your health. It might have a really big impact, but you are not your diagnosis. You are not your disease. You are not your disease processes. You are you. So right now, let's talk about how you can transform your year. This is the holistic birthday evaluation that you need. So we're going to go in order: body, mind, spirit, diet, environment. I have 2 questions for each of these. And then, because I know that I like to get to know my podcast hosts, I'm going to answer each one for me. I would love it if you journal this. I plan to release a second follow-up episode to this so that it can be the what's next. Because as you know, on this podcast, I will always leave you with true, simple, and sustainable steps for better health. And we're not going to leave this as a looking back. We're not going to leave it as just a general looking forward, looking at goals. We need to figure out how to make things happen, how you actually transform your year. So the first question I ask is, let's think about your physical health, your body. What is going well? What are you doing well? What are you proud of? What have you improved on over the past year? For me, what is going well is I have more energy. A year ago at this time, I was still taking a nap every single day to get through the day. I had learned about my Hashimoto's diagnosis about 2 months earlier, and I was taking steps to improve and to work on my overall health, but I was still needing a nap almost every single day just to get through the day. And then I would still be exhausted by bedtime. It's not like the nap fixed anything. It just made me able to make it until bedtime. So what is going well is I have more energy. I take a nap on Sundays because that is my routine, not necessarily because I need that nap. Every once in a while, I will still take a nap. Usually that is related to me reading too late at night. That is something that I struggle with. I get sucked into the stories. I do not read nonfiction at bedtime. I read fiction at bedtime. Sometimes I just like one more chapter, just one more chapter. Oh, wait, one more chapter. Oh, one more page. And then that gets me into trouble the next day. And then I need a nap. So I have more energy. For each component of the whole you, body, mind, spirit, diet, environment, let's also address the question, what is your biggest challenge right now in this area? So physical health, your body. What is your biggest challenge right now? If you're journaling, go ahead and pause me and write down your answer. Really think about this. My biggest challenge right now are my labs. My labs have gone in the right direction. In a recent episode, I told you about how I was getting my own blood work, how I was looking at what labs I wanted, and then I went to an independent lab and ordered those. It was awesome. The experience was phenomenal. If you want to listen to that episode and go through my friend Eva's link, it's perfect. I got my labs back and everything is going in the right direction, which is awesome. My antibodies have gone down. My reverse T3 has almost gotten back into normal range. My TSH has gone down a bit, but none of those things are back to even Western medicine normal. I want them functional medicine normal, which is even more of a narrow range than conventional medicine. So I know my goals and I am getting there, but I'm not there yet. So that I know that my body still needs support. That is my biggest challenge right now. Subjectively, looking at how I feel, looking at even my visible symptoms, I'm doing really well. But from my lab work, I know that my body hasn't caught up to how I am feeling. So I know I'm going in the right direction. I'm going to keep doing that. The next category is mind. What is going well is the same thing as what is my biggest challenge right now. Over the past year, my husband has been reading to our boys the book Soundtracks, except he's not reading Soundtracks. He's reading the one written for teens. Your New Playlist is the name of it. Both books were written by John Acuff, and the teen one, he also had his girls help him co-write it. These two books are so phenomenal for your emotional and your mental health. They talk about what are you saying to yourself? What are the soundtracks that you are playing over and over? And in those books, he teaches you, here are tips to turn down the noise, to turn down the bad soundtracks, and here are things to turn up the volume on or even replace your playlists with. So what is going well? Well, I am identifying more of those negative soundtracks. I admit it is much easier to identify them when my kids say things than when I think it myself. So that is also my biggest challenge. I am working on identifying the negative soundtracks, the negative things that I fill my mind with, and replacing those, first turning down the volume and then replacing them with positive soundtracks. Moving on to spirit. What is going well? What am I proud of? Over the past year, I have resumed the habit of daily Bible reading. When I have gone through different seasons of homeschooling, my mornings have looked different. And this year, I have hit a really good routine of taking care of myself and my needs, my spiritual needs, my physical needs, my dietary needs. I have a really good morning routine now that I incorporate, my boys with. I have 4 boys. I think I've told you that before. So what is going well is I have that good morning routine, and I have been reading my Bible just about every day. I am doing a Bible reading challenge where it's set up for 5 days a week. You'll get through the entire Bible in 5 days a week. That way, if you miss 2 days, you're not off, which I really appreciate. What can I improve, or what is my biggest challenge right now? I talk to God a lot, daily, many times a day, but I have not been spending focused time And I am closest to God in nature when I'm taking a walk out in the woods or on a hike. I definitely feel closest to God. The other time is when I am journaling. I write out my prayers, and I have fallen away from that over the last couple of years. So what is my biggest challenge right now is being more intentional in my listening in prayer. Prayer is a two-way conversation, and I find myself talking a lot to God, but not listening. So this coming year, I plan on slowing down and listening more. And for me, I do that via journaling. The fourth category is diet. What am I proud of? What is going well? For me, I have cut out a ton of sugar. I still eat sugar. I still have a dessert probably, I don't know, every couple days. But I have cut out a lot of sugar. In fact, I have changed my taste buds so that I don't crave that sugar. I'm not spiking my blood sugar. I'm not getting on that glucose roller coaster where I have that craving, and I'm super proud of that. What is my biggest challenge right now? My biggest challenge in my diet right now is probably the same thing that I have had challenged for my entire life. I don't like vegetables. I have been increasing my veggies a lot. I have tried microgreens this year. When I can get them to grow, I really love them. I don't know. I kill probably every other batch, maybe 2 out of 3. So I'm working on that. If you have any microgreen tips, let me know, because I clearly have a long way to go with that. I like salads, and so I am incorporating those into my days more often, but increasing my veggies is my biggest challenge. So that's body, mind, spirit, diet. Now let's talk about environment. What is going well? Now, environment can include a lot of things. It can include your home environment. It can include your work environment. It can include nature, like how often do you get outside? It can include things that cause stress. What is that for you? I don't know. It can also include things like toxins and what kind of chemicals are in your environment. Environment can encompass a lot of different things. So what's going well in your environment? For me, I know where I need to be. This past year, I started listening to the podcast Systemize Your Life by Chelsea Jo Moore, and I have started following her time blocking method, and it's really working for me. I have tried other time blocking methods in the past, but she just explains it in a way that it makes sense to me. I did join her program, and it's really nice to have a coach like lay out an entire program for you. Like, here's week 1, this is what you need to do. Here's week 2. And then, I go through the 4 weeks, and when I get off track, I can go back and I can watch the videos to, jump back on the wagon to figure out where I went wrong. What is it for me that slipped? How can I fix this and get back on track? I have really, really benefited from her program and from her podcast. It is Systemize Your Life. So as I have implemented her system, I feel like now I know where I need to be, instead of feeling like I am pulled in 50 different directions, trying to think about my business. I have 2 different businesses, trying to think about the boys in school and the boys at homeschool and what I need to do at home. Like, I have different times of my day that are devoted to each of those, so I can be present where I am. Do I still get off track? Yes. Especially during subjects where I am waiting, like spelling, I'll give a word or a sentence and then wait for my 3rd grader to write it out. Well, then sometimes I do get distracted and I feel like I am pulled in a different way, but I know where my top priority is, and that is school. So that has been going really well this year as far as environment. I know where I need to be when, and I can execute that. So what is my biggest challenge right now? Clutter. I have a very cluttered house. I did an episode where I had Emily McDermott a while ago, and she shared her tips on clutter and how a cluttered house actually increases your stress and decreases your overall health. So that is something that I'm continuing to work on. It is small amounts every day. I tend to be an all or nothing person. So sometimes I find myself going like way crazy deep into decluttering, and then the next day I don't want to touch it at all. So I am learning balance on that and working on trying to declutter my house so that it can decrease my environmental stress. So that is my evaluation. How are you doing? Did you pause? Did you journal this out? When you have journaled it out, when you have answered these questions, this is your next step. Look at the 5 different answers you gave for what is your biggest challenge right now. So you're looking at those 5 different answers. Now I want you to pick one and only one of them to really evaluate. Okay, do you have that one? Do you know which one you're going to evaluate? These are the questions you're going to ask about that one biggest challenge. The first and most important question, what would it look like to the whole you? What would the whole you be like if this challenge was solved? What would that be like? What would you feel like? What would be different in your family? What would be different in your mind, in your spirit, in your body, in your diet, in your environment? Because when you change one thing, it impacts the whole you. It doesn't just stay confined to that one aspect of you. Everything is related. So how would things be different if that challenge was solved? This is where you get to go deep and you get to write down your answer and then ask yourself why, and write down that answer and then ask yourself why, and then write down that answer. Ask yourself why 5 times. Why would things be different, or how would they be different? Why would that matter? And when you've asked yourself why 5 times, you will have gotten so deep and you will have so much clarity. And when you have that clear vision of what things will look like, what they will feel like, what they will be like, then you can make plans on how to solve this challenge. But first you need to know why it is a challenge and what would things be like if it was different. So questions that you're going to ask yourself when you're moving on. You've already asked yourself why 5 times. How did this challenge begin? What is the root of it? And what is one thing that you can implement now to address this challenge? In the next episode, which I plan to release earlier than next Thursday, because I don't want you to wait, we will be talking about how to implement change so that it sticks. But for today, I want you to journal, and I know you might not be able to do it right now. So block off some time, 20, 30 minutes, and come back to this episode, replay it, and journal the answers. Then in the next episode, we will tackle what next, because I want you to be able to make sustainable changes that have a really big impact. And as a reminder, this is my birthday month, so I have a birthday gift for you. Anybody who makes and has their first Hashimoto's health session with me in June, you will get a free second session as my gift to you. In your Hashimoto's health session, we will figure out together what your next step is and how to make that step and be successful. I look forward to seeing you in your first Hashimoto's health session so that you can feel like yourself again, so that you can have that energy that you used to have. I'll see you on the next episode of Health with Hashimoto's. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please be sure to discuss any concerns and plans with your trusted healthcare professional.